Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video, and this is what I have been waiting for, and if you're somebody who cares about competitive World of Warcraft, have been waiting for the class tuning changes that have come in now post-beta when the game is already out. These are changes that I was really worried, are these going to actually happen? Are they going to be happening next patch? What's going on? Is this just going to be what we've got? Because these changes could absolutely enhance the experience so much so I'm very excited to dig in and see what's going on, which classes are going to be ending up on top, which ones are going to be ending up on the bottom. We're probably going to have to reorganize our thoughts about competitive World of Warcraft here after these changes. So let's jump into it. So they've said at the start here, we're working on a slate of tuning adjustments to classes in Dragonflight. The following changes are scheduled to be implemented with weekly maintenance Tuesday, December 6th. So next week, these changes will be going live. They're enhancing tank specialization characters' threat generation by an additional 100%. This represents roughly a 15% increase to tank generation. So to help tanks being able to hold aggro while DPS are going ham. PvEers obviously going to be very happy about that, so they can go ham a little bit sooner. For Demon Hunters, we're seeing the hunt damage being reduced by 10%. I think this makes a lot of sense with the performance of Demon Hunters at the moment and is targeting a good spell. Fodder to the Flame proc rate no longer scales with haste. This is the demon summoning. This is absolutely crazy effect of Demon Hunter, so I think that this is a logical way of going about it. This is going to reduce the number of demons that are overall going to be spawning into the arena and likely reducing their self-sustainability in PvP, but also lowering Demon Hunter damage probably by a lot. Resto Druids are seeing a 6% healing decrease in regrowth. Seems kind of random. 6% is very minor. Steel trap damage has been reduced by 20% for hunters. You're not too happy about that. But explosive shot damage has been buffed by 15%. Barrage damage by 15%. Marksmanship hunter is getting a flat 10% buff. And marksman's just been getting buffs after buff after buff. Marksman hunter could be really scary here soon. Heavy ammo now causes trick shot ricochets to deal an additional 25% damage, up from 10%. So a bit more AoE and cleave for marksman. Survival is just getting an overall 5% damage buff. For Fire Mage, we are seeing Flame Strike damage increased by 8%, Pyroblast damage increased by 5%, Fireball by 10%, Scorch by 10%, and Ignite by 5%. I think these are all great spells to target and enhance for Fire Mage, as you know, its performance is not exactly phenomenal at the moment. For Assassination, we see a really big change here. What's going on with Assassination? Exsanguinate cooldown has been increased to 3 minutes, up from 45 seconds. That is a dramatic increase in cooldown. And bleed effect magnitude has also been reduced to 80%, down from 100%. Wow, this seems like a massive change. Why are they doing this? Recent data indicates that Exsanguinate is drastically overperforming its historic and intended power level. We recognize that this is a heavy nerf for an individual talent, but it is important that Exsanguinate's power be similar to the alternative available talent choices. We see this as a temporary measure as we head towards the opening of Dragonflight's first season, and we will reconsider Exsanguinate's position and role as an available talent for Assassination. We may move, replace, or redesign in a future patch. So this is like an emergency nerf, like trying to get this thing out of the way and then deal with it later on, so it's not going to be getting in the way of competition. But Assassination Row got a big hit there with that one. Brew Mastery. Brewmaster's balance now grants 45% increased stamina, up from 30%. For Mistweaver, what's going on with you guys? Awakened Phaline Spinning Crane Kick now heals 3 nearby allies for 60% of the damage done was 50%. Vivify, heal to the primary target, has been increased by 20%. Peaceful Mending now increases healing received by Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist by 15 to 30%, up from 10 to 20%. And Yulon's Whisper now heals 5 targets, down from 6, and the healing has also been buffed by 15%. Mistweaver just getting more throughput. Mistweaver's going to be pretty happy about this. Protection Paladin. Aegis of the Light now grants 50% increased stamina, up from 45%, and 30% increased armor, up from 15%. So a lot of tank balancing on these initial changes. For Restoration Shaman, 5% healing increase, a little healing buff, and acid rain damage has been buffed by 50%. So really trying to make that healing rain damage build more of a viable option for you. I do ever wonder if this becomes a thing in PvP. For Warlock, Soul Leech now converts 3% of the damage dealt to an Absorb Shield from 6%. Oh my god, we love this. This is the thing that we want to be seeing here, everybody. Just so we know, this is the thing that we want to be seeing. This is just passive healing that exists at all times, and it is being nerfed in half. So this type of direction, really good for PvP, but the game as a whole, right? Because healers want to heal in PvE. If the DPS are just all sustaining themselves, the The healers don't got anything to do. So I think that this is good for the game as a whole. Obviously not if you were wanting to be really strong as a warlock. For Arms Warrior, Fueled by Violence is now going to heal for 85% of the damage done by deep wounds, up from 65%. I don't really want Arms Warriors getting up to Demon Hunter healing levels here. I don't know if I want that. Protection, Fueled by Violence, now heals for 85%. So they're also getting a little healing buff for Prot Warriors. Brutal Vitality now causes 15% of the damage you deal to add to your active Ignore Pain. It was 30%, so some Prot Warrior sustained nerfs on top of that with their shields. And here we go, PvP. This is the one thing that we haven't really gotten a lot to talk about, right? Because it's just been... where we did the play with the blues test. What's going on? Are we going to get any PvP tweaking going on? You've been reversing PvP tweaking that's happened in the past. This is the first official round of like, this is some serious business. So what's going on? Thank you to those who participated in and provided feedback during the Play with the Blues event in the Dragonflight beta a few weeks back, as they gave us valuable data and information. That, alongside what we've observed on Live Realm since Dragonflight's launch, contributed to these PvP adjustments as we head into Season 1. Death Knights. What's on the chopping block for you? Anti-magic shell absorption has been reduced by 25% in PvP. Will of the Necropolis damage reduction has been reduced by 50% in PvP. An anti-magic barrier increase to the anti-magic shield duration and amount absorbed has been reduced by 50% in PvP combat. Abomination's Limb will now no longer pull individual enemy players more than once over its duration, was every 4 seconds. Improved Death Strike now increases. Improved Death Strike increase to Death Strike's healing has been reduced by, oh my god, Frost. I mean, this is just all of, you're not going to be getting grippy hands Boyd back to the Death Knight infinitely. They are going to be a lot more fragile to casters here. For Frost Death Knight's Death Strike healing percent based on recent damage is reduced by 50% of the damage was dealt by players or their pets. Unholy Death Knight, Death Strike's healing has been increased, so the same type of deal. Your Death Strike is just getting reduced by 50%. Death Knight's survivability has been substantially higher than we're comfortable with, so we're targeting several aspects of their defensive kit. We feel that with these adjustments, Death Knights will maintain durability with options to counterplay defensively. Additionally, the multiple grips from Abomination Limb created scenarios of unfun gameplay with minimal counterplay in PvP. We're changing this talent to be able to pull in a unique player in once per talent usage. We believe this change will allow the talent to be an attractive talent to pick while maintaining counterplay options for opponents. That was a big hit. Like, what's going on with everybody else? Because that was a big hit here. For Resto Druid, we're seeing Budding Leaves is now 70% PvP combat. Fixed an issue that caused focus growth buff to only apply to one life bloom at a time while using it with the Undergrowth talent. Life bloom has been a higher percentage of Druid's healing breakdown in PvP than we'd like, so we're reducing Budding Leaves to bring it more in line. This was definitely the case. Resto Druid was like going to be bordering TBC levels of life bloom healing. For Evoker, what's going on here? Scarlet Adaptation's cap is reduced by 30% in PvP combat. Fire Breath's initial damage has been reduced by 30% PvP combat, but Pyre and Disintegrate have been buffed by 15%. That's exactly the direction that I wanted to see them go with Evoker, was putting more damage into the spells that they're going to be casting more frequently and less damage in the cooldown burst windows so that there's more of a sustained gameplay here. And so let's see what they've got for notes. The goal of this tuning change is to reduce the very high burst from fully charged Fire Breath, which we felt was unfair, as it had the potential to kill enemy players without any time to react. Living Flame also had the potential to deal high burst damage with all of its modifiers combined together, so we're reducing Scarlet Adaptation's cap in PvP. To compensate for the lost power, we're increasing the damage of Disintegrate and Pyre so that Evoker can contribute more meaningful, consistent damage. Note that this will affect both Devastation and Preservation specializations, which makes a lot of sense with how strong Preservation's damage was as well. For Preservation, your mana regeneration is getting 10% nerf in PvP combat. All healers have had their mana regeneration reduced in PvP, so that fights end after a reasonable period of time. Preservation receiving this reduction brings them closer in line with other healers, so that mana is relevant in PvP. For Arcane Mage, oh, what's going on with you guys? Did you guys dodge a bullet? Because I'm a bit worried for you here. Nether Precision is now 75% effective in PvP combat. Prejudice Savant is now 80% PvP combat. Arcane Bombardment is now 65% effective in PvP combat. We're looking to address Arcane's instant burst damage through adjustments targeting Arcane Blast and Arcane Barrage modifiers. Arcane Bombardment in particular has been too powerful of an execute effect in PvP for its current availability. So, oh no, Arcane Mages, you were in a really good spot. This might hurt you really bad. I'm not as savvy with the names of the talents for Arcane Mages, so if you are an Arcane Mage player, in the comments down below, let me know. I think more particularly the Execute Barrage portion of this is like the biggest chunk, because that was the you know, the big trade-off of being arcane. Now for Frost, what's going on with Frost Mage? Piercing Cold is now 50% effective in PvP combat. Ice Lance damage has been buffed by 20%, and the PvP talent Snowdrift no longer has a cast time, and Snowdrift's cooldown has been reduced to 45 seconds. Glacial Spike critical strikes are hitting harder than we would like. Despite the long cast time attached to the spell, we're reducing the Piercing Cold's critical strike damage modifier in PvP to help address this without impacting the base damage of the spell. We're also increasing the damage of Ice Lance as the splitting ice talent is less valuable in PvP, given the unpredictable and constant movement of players. Additionally, Snowdrift has been requiring more ramp up than intended, so we're removing its cast time and lowering its cooldown. So this is going to be an instant way to start generating towards that, you know, quasi deep freeze stun, and more Ice Lance damage is a good direction. And Glacial Spike was hitting some pretty absurd numbers from what I had tested as well. So this seems to be in line and makes sense for creating better gameplay for Frost Mage. Mistweaver Monk, Ancient Teachings of the Monastery now heals for 375% of the damage done, up from 240%. We would like to see more aggressive playstyles from Mistweaver Monk to be possible in PvP, so we're targeting Ancient Teachings of the Monastery to bolster the playstyle. Is this going to be a Fistweaving Mistweaver build? Like, that's almost double. This could be crazy for Mistweaver if they're able to get in there and do some fist weaving. Now for Rogue, Echoing Reprimand has been reduced by 30% in PvP combat. I'm not surprised. We've seen that the ability could have extremely high burst, more than we're comfortable with, so we are partially reverting the change made in the last week's hotfixes, where Echoing Reprimand's damage was no longer reduced in PvP. It's still an overall buff to you. I still think Rogue is likely going to be doing nasty damage, but maybe not just, you know, killing you without being able to blink. Enhancement Shaman, they've improved Maelstrom Weapon, increases the damage and healing of spells by 8 to 15% per stack, down from 10 to 20%. So this is going to affect the Ellie Blast damage and your Healing Surge healing. Raging Maelstrom increases the effectiveness of Maelstrom weapon stacks by 3% in PvP combat, down from 5%. So really targeting enhancement hard here. And I mean, really the only thing super problematic about enhancement was Ellie Blast just like knocking you completely out. This might have other implications on enhance that I don't know if it really needed that much. And I'm honestly really surprised we didn't see a lot of targets towards Demon Hunters. So we're finalizing additional tuning, and we will continue to keep an eye on class balance over the next week as we have additional adjustments planned for the week of December 13th. Ooh, additional adjustments. All right, there's going to be more. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss them and you know what's going to be happening. I feel a bit bad here for our Enhancement Shaman friends. I feel like Ellie Blast was over the top, but everything else was not too great about your class, and that nerf affects you in a lot of other ways. I feel like Preservation Evokers escaped pretty unscathed from this original round of tuning, and Death Knight's got a huge crack against the skull. Like, this is going to be mixing up comp viabilities. I really like these targeted nerfs to passive healing. This change to Demon Hunter at the top that we covered could likely be a massive nerf. Maybe that's why we didn't see any PvP specific ones, because maybe this is just like they're not going to be proccing demons at all anymore, which would be, you know, that would put them in line pretty drastically. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited to see that we got changes. You know, it was one of those things like, oh, I guess it's out. We got to wait for the next patch. And the fact that they seem to be ongoing is going to be even more great. This is the last thing that Dragonflight needed to really solidify itself as possibly one of the greatest expansions. So other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit it with a thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know, hear your thoughts, and I will catch you in the next video.